What's up, math scholars? It's Mrs. Harp here, and it's a beautiful Monday. The sun is shining in my new classroom. I'm loving it. We're going to learn section 1.2, so who's excited? Me! All right, everybody's got their notebooks open and ready in the notes section. We'll get some paper here for you. All right, so last week we did talk briefly about the order of operations, but we're officially learning it in section 1.2. Pemdas, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Looks like we have this cool smartboard trick again. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I kind of thought hiding behind those boxes would have been parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But it's the order of operations. So make sure you're doing your parentheses first, your exponents next. Multiplication and division actually happen at the same exact time from left to right, so I underline and kind of group them as one. And then addition and subtraction happens at the same exact time from left to right. Now, we did have the discussion during the warm-up that the calculator does order of operations for you, but you still kind of have to be smart because sometimes there's multiple choice questions saying what would happen first, the 4 times 3 or the 16 minus 4, and you have to know how to be able to answer those questions. So what do you guys think? What would happen first, the 16 minus 4 or the 4 times 3? Caspian?
4 times 3.
Perfect. So the 4 times 3 is going to happen first. That's going to give us 12. Multiplication happens before adding and subtracting. And then we'll finish it off with the 16 minus 12. Number 2, what do you think would happen first? Let's go with Kenneth. Perfect. So Kenneth, what's 3 squared? And what's 5 squared? Perfect. And then we'll finish it off with our adding. 9 plus 25, 34. All right. This first one, we have a negative, so we can have a calculator discussion on the first one. We're going to take the -6, and we're going to plug it in for A. So it's going to look something like this. But I want to have a calculator discussion with you guys because it becomes very important to use parentheses. Anytime you have a negative number being raised to a power, you have to put it in parentheses, or it calculates out wrong. So I'll have students type it in like this. That is actually going to give them the wrong answer. Well, first of all, I must needed the multiply sign. But let me just show you how to type it correctly. 5 times parentheses -6 to the 4th. Extra. Having trouble typing today. There we go. So I'll just talk about what happened when. With the order of operations, the exponent has to happen first. So -6 gets multiplied by -6, gets multiplied by -6, gets multiplied by -6. Then it multiplies by 5 second step. So it's 6480 as a final answer. Now, did you try typing it? I'll give you a second to try typing it. Make sure you got it. We're back. It looks like we have a really big problem on this one, but we'll try it together. We're going to put a 9 in for x and a 5 in for y. So you have two things going on here. 9 in for x, 5 in for y. Now, what do you think we should do first? That's what I always like to say. What has to happen first here? Actually, not the exponent. Remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses have to happen first. So we actually have to calculate out everything in this parenthesis first. So we're going to calculate out the 9 plus 5 first. That's 14. We're going to calculate out the 9 minus 5 first, which is 4. Ooh, this is going to be a decimal. And then we're going to calculate out what 14 divided by 4 is. 3.5, thank you, because I didn't have my calculator in my hand. And then we'll square it last. 3.5 squared. I should have put my calculator down. Yes? 10.24 or 10.25? That's weird. I got 12.25.
Calculator's off by 1.
Yeah, we'll pause the video and see what happened on this calculator. I know. All right, this is for all you scholars out there. Whew. The first thing that was catching my eye is the division sign because we're dividing by a fraction. Do you remember last week what happens when you divide by a fraction? Multiply by the reciprocal. So probably be setting that up. All right, I'm going to go pretty slow. And everywhere I see an A, I'm going to put in a 3. And everywhere I see a B, I'm going to put in a 4. Okay? So it's 3 squared minus 1 squared over 2 divided by 2 times B. So B is 4 over 4 times 3. Actually, I don't think we're going to need the reciprocal trick because I think this is going to be an integer. But let's start simplifying things down. Caspian?
Where did the square parentheses from?
Like right here.
No, the other one's over the two.
Oh, it's just a bracket.
Okay.
It's just the way it got typed in the calc or in the computer, but it could be a parentheses, it'd be the same thing. Brackets and parentheses are pretty much the same. All right, here goes. What do you guys think has to happen first? Jose? Yeah, this stuff right in here, I'll circle it in yellow. This is what's going to have to happen first because it's in the parentheses. 3 squared is 9 minus 1. So that would be an 8. And I still have that 8 squared there over 2. I could probably clean this up a little bit since I'm cleaning. 4 times 2 would be 8. And 8, what is 8 divided by 4? 2. Okay. Next, I would probably do this 8 squared. What is 8 squared? 64. And why don't we just do the 64 divided by 2 while we're at it? 64 divided by 2. That's 32. Yep. And then multiplication and division actually happens the same time from left to right. So I'll just work left to right now. 32 divided by 2 times 3. I just typed it in. 48. Does that sound about right? So I use my calculator along the way for the baby steps. I would never, ever try to type all this in the calculator at one time. It's just too much. So just do baby steps to simplify, and then maybe towards the end type it all in. Does that make sense? All right, so there's nothing to write down in your notes. We're just looking at a math problem that somebody did, and we're seeing if they did the right steps first. What do you guys think? This is the original problem, by the way. This is like their work. What do you think needs to happen first in this problem? Anthony?
2 times 5.
Yeah, this has to happen first. Is that what they did? Did they get 10 right here for 2 times 5?
Yes.
Yes, so far they seem to be doing well. What do you think, now that they're here, what step would need to happen next? Anthony?
8 plus 3.
Perfect. And is that what they did to get 11? Yes. And then, so I think they got the problem correct. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so thumbs up. This person was clearly a math scholar. Let's look at the next person. All right, this is the original problem here. Nothing to write down still. We're just looking at their work. What do you think they would have to do first? Jose? Yeah, so they would need to do the 8 plus 10. Is that what they did? Did they get 18?
Yes.
Yeah, so now they're here. What do you think would have to happen next? Oh, go ahead, Brooke. No, order of operations. Let's think order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Maybe write that at the top of your paper. Multiplying and dividing would happen after the parentheses. There was no exponents. Perfect. So what is 18 divided by 6 since that has to happen next? Good. So really, they should be having 3 minus 3 right now. They have 18 divided by 3 right now. So I think they got it wrong. I think they did the 6 minus 3 next when they should have actually done the division next. So their answer should have been what? 0. Their answer should have been 0. Their answer was 6. So they were not a math scholar. Okay. Does that make sense? We're correcting their work. We're kind of pretending we're a math teacher. Oh, same exact thing. Describe and correct the error. Let me just show you one at a time. take a peek at that. I'll give you like 20 seconds or so to look at that closely and see if you can find where the mistake was. I see it. Don't blurt it. Just raise your hand when you spot the error. Keep looking for it if you haven't seen it yet. Okay, my team started out. I forgot a few names over the weekend. I got a cheat. Yeah, I actually did.
That hurts my feelings.
Garrett and Dylan I wanted to check on. For sure. Alright, Dylan, what's the error?
They didn't try before adding.
Yeah, so it looks like they did this first. They got the 14. That was great. They were on track, right? But then right here, 14 divided by 7 needs to happen next. And that should have been 2 at that point. So it should have been 2 plus 7 at that point. And what should the answer have been, Dylan? Yeah, good. Cool. This is just what grading math papers is like. You always have to find people's mistakes. It's like a game. Alright, do the same thing. Take a peek at this. I'll give you 30 seconds or so. Trying to find a mistake. Oh yeah, raise your hand when you spot the mistake. I haven't actually even spotted it yet. Okay, I found it. This one was pretty easy to find. It's the first step right off the bat. They did wrong. Only 2 people have found a mistake. People are just raising their hand. Oh. How was your birthday weekend, Ethan?
Fun.
Wasn't it your birthday? What'd you do fun?
I had a party.
A party? Cool. Oh, we're not even on, we're not on pause. All right, Ethan, what do you think they did wrong?
At the very beginning, when they took the 6 squared in the 1/2, they made it 3 squared.
Yeah, so they probably should have actually done the 6 squared, got 36, and then had the 1/2 out front. Let's finish it out correctly. What would this end up being, Ethan? Do you know? 36 divided by 2? 36 times 1/2. It's the same thing. It's 18. I'll help you out. And then what's 20 minus 18? 2. So the answer should have been 2. All right, let's read this word problem together. A local bowling alley charges $4.50 to play 1 game and $4 to rent 1 pair of shoes. Write an expression for the given situation. Maybe we'll use like game for our unknown because we don't know how many games we're going to play. Kenneth, what do you think it would look like? I'm going to do 450G so that if we decide to play 2 games or 3 games, we could stick that 2 or 3 in here. And then what'd you say? You're right on plus. Plus 4. Good, because we're definitely going to have to rent the shoes. All right, I'm assuming we're only going to rent 1 pair of shoes because you only have 1 pair of feet. How much would it cost to bowl 4 games? How would we put that 4 in there, Anthony?
4.5 times.
Yeah, and why don't you guys just type that in the calculator? Because that's probably going to have some decimals, maybe. I'll give you a second to type it. You already know it. Whew. All right, Dylan, what do we got? Okay. Right, we don't know our tax. $18 plus $4 is $22. Good job.